All right, that's what it is. So we're recording. First off, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the podcast. I'm your host, Dallas Maxwell. And today we're going to do what I'm going to call Local Legends series. And it's basically just where we highlight people that are people either I know or know of that I feel are really putting some points on the board out here in the game of life. And the reason why I think it's important is because a lot of times I feel like we overlook things that are right in front of our face. Like I'm reading Acres of Diamonds again by Russell Cronwell. And, you know, one of the funniest thing about the book is that it talks about acres of diamonds. And a lot of times we think we're going to have to go out and search for something to find it. And all the while it's right in front of our faces. You know what I'm saying? So Local Legend for me is just about highlighting dudes that you could touch, that you could see that's in the community that's really making it happen, man. And so, you know, one of the things I say, Will, I was just thinking about this, like, you know, how I'm gonna start off. You know, I want to talk about this 21-day challenge first. You know what I'm saying? because
how you doing? How you feel, bro? So you look great, dude.
I appreciate it. And I know you.
I can tell. Yeah, I ain't see you. I haven't seen. We talk all the time, but I haven't seen you in a while.
But since that day in the parking lot, since we talked that time in the parking lot, I'm probably down a solid 20. You know what I'm saying?
That's lovely, bro.
Since we talked, and I appreciate it. And I'm thinking about it, like I'm thinking through it. I got to be honest with you, man. Let me ask you this question first. And I'm gonna ask you a dumb question, but just indulge me anyway. The 21-day challenge workout, did you design that workout?
Yeah.
All right.
100%.
Now, here's why I asked it, right? And I hope we could bust this down and get into the nitty gritty as what really gets the performance, what gets the results for people. Because I know you in the results business, right?
Right.
And, you know, I talked to my older brother, this was years ago. He's a computer programmer and my whole time, like I'm an artist, right? So I look for the art in things, right? And listening to Tim explain coding, I thought it was something nerdy, but I realized it's an art to it.
Right.
Now, why I'm talking about art is because, like, I used to like the Beachbody stuff. I used to like the P90X stuff. You know what I'm saying? I never really was a dude that needed the motivations per se. You know what I'm saying? I don't got no problem getting up in the morning and all that. I just needed the structure and the formula. So the reason why I asked you that about did you design it, man, is because I'm looking at the I'm looking at the workout and I'm like, damn, I'm starting to see the rhythm to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you got me starting off with this? And then they got the amount of sets and then the rest time. And then why you follow up with this afterwards? It's to the point where I'm learning about my body by analyzing the way you put. It's almost like if you were a rapper, it'll be the flow would be how you put the exercise together and in what order and how they comment. So I seen the blueprint to it. I'm doing shoulder day. And I'm like, boom, I see the signs. He got the front, the rear, and the side.
100%.
And then I'm like, so what it did for me is that I like stuff I don't got to think about it. You know, I'm a blueprint guy myself. So I'm watching this. I'm looking at this work. I'm like, all right, done. And then he's going to hit me with the plane. And then we're going to do the wall sit. All right, boom. So I felt like I could just submit to the process. And I'm thinking to myself like, damn, this shit is genius. How you put it together. So how do you sit back and design a workout? Is it general for general results? Is it for a specific type of body type? Because I feel like that workout, anybody could get in where they fit in. Like I'm telling my wife about it. She don't necessarily want to bulk up. And I don't know if women's workouts are the same as men's workout. But I told her, I said, I can tell you this, I don't like doing cardio. And every time I'm during that workout and by the end of it, I'm sweating the whole time. So just break the science to me behind it. Is it the rest time? Is it the order of operations? Is it like what is it that makes it? I mean, maybe I'm over the top. Like maybe it's simple to you, but for me, I seen the art to it, and that's why I got engaged with it, and I just submitted. You know, a lot of us go to the gym and we think we know what we're doing. You know, half the people you see in the gym don't know what they're doing, and everybody ain't in shape.
No doubt.
You know, since I peeped that a while ago. And also coming from growing up, you know, we was kids and we worked out. We only worked on the muscles that we could see. You know what I'm saying? So Cats was in the gym, just bench pressing and curling all day. Jokers weren't hitting shoulders, weren't doing none of those.
No legs.
No legs, nothing. You know what I'm saying? So what's the science behind the workout, and how would you say your approach is different, or how do you look at it when you got a raw piece of paper and you're like, all right, I want to design this workout to produce these results, not take longer than this time, and like how do you do that?
Well, like ideally, man, like when I build a workout, the goal is to get as much done as possible,
I
right?
love it. Yep.
So ideally, if we're looking at a program and the program is 3 days, then we're gonna have to bunch as much work into those 3 days as we possibly can. Of course, if we have a 3-day program, the program is going to consist, and how I build programs and how I design programs will be an upper body focus, right? So it'll be an upper body focus. That doesn't mean that you're not incorporating lower body and core, but the focus would be upper body, so we can pretty much target that upper body, right? Ideally, we're not just working out just to work out. We want to see results, right? So if I only have 3 days to work out, and this is how I build my programs, because you have to build it so anyone can look at the program and say, you know what, if I can't do all these days, I can go 1, 2, and 3, right? So if I can't go 5 days, at least I can go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I can still get the result, because everything I need is in that Monday. Everything I need for my lower body, well, everything I need for my upper body is in that Monday. Everything I need for my lower body is on that Wednesday, and then my cardio and core is on Friday. So I'll be good, you know? So for me, in general, I've been doing this a long time. Like I started training, not training as per se, not training clients, but I started working out when I was 14.
Yeah.
So from me working out on my own, going to college, being in those programs, education, certifications, you know, I started to like break down and incorporate my own methodology based on the results I've been able to see, and, you know, that I've been able to see through the actual training, as well as me, you know, using the methodology that I've been able to see doing training and actually training people, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So just to get back to the point, how I build out the programs, for one, my whole thing is time. Because most people won't do the workout if they look at it and say, I just don't got enough time to do this, bro. Like, it's too much, you know? So when I look at it, I want people to look at the program and say, well, you know, if I do that, I can do this. I got 45 minutes. I can, you know, and then I build out the workout. We need to have a strength component, right? We need to have an endurance component. So how I look at it is, we're not, even in 21 days, you can work and train to be strong, right? So we need to have that strength component for one. We need to have that endurance, that aerobic, anaerobic training, so we can get lean and tone. And then we need to have a core aspect to it. And that's just how I build out the program. So now, if we're looking to build upper body strength, we're going to incorporate a core lift, like a upper body core lift, like a bench press, right? You know that. You know, if we're doing lower body, our lower body core lift will be probably a squat. You know, different squat variations. It could be a back squat. It could be a front squat, and it could be a trap bar deadlift, right? And then if we're looking to do that, third day will normally be like a full body, but it'll be more high intensity interval based training. So we'll do more like full body, but the repetitions are different from Monday and Wednesday, because on Friday, it could be, you know, everything we're doing under the clock and it's time, or it could be 15 reps or more. That's gonna hit a different, you know what I mean? It's gonna hit a, you know. So first and foremost, like I said, when I look at it, when I build these programs, I want anyone to be able to look at the program and say, you know what, I could do that, for one, right? The second thing I want is, once a person do the program, they're actually hitting all those components. They're actually hitting strength. They're actually hitting, hitting the repetition base to where they can actually get lean and tone. And then the third thing, I want them to be able to get some sort of cardio in it without hopping on the treadmill or hopping on the, that's why you see it, the circuits at the end. Most people say the strength stuff was all right, but boy, when I got to the circuits and I had to go from back to back to back, that's the thing which means, so for me, I understand that steady state cardio is not always the key to burning fat and getting super lean, as well as most people just don't have time to be on the treadmill for 45 minutes, right? So I need to build out the program to where we can get our cardio work, we can get our strength work, we can get lean and tone, as well as we have the flexibility and the mobility built into the program with different exercises. So that's pretty much how I look at it, you know. And not to cut you off.
No,
and
when
it comes to the nutrition, I know you said one thing that caught my attention. You said my wife don't want to get bulky, but what we all fail to realize is that the bulkiness is going to come from the nutrition, right? The bulkiness is going to come from you being at a caloric surplus. You're not going to be if you are not over consuming calories and you're working out and doing that type of training. Listen, dude, when you look at fitness models, you can just go online and look at the top fitness models. You'll see how they train. You know, they're deadlifting, they're squatting, they're doing bench press, they're doing overhead explosive lifts, they're doing box jumps, right? And the reason why they look the way they look, they're slim, they're lean, is because they're in control of their nutrition, right? If you're overdoing it with the carbs, yeah, you're gonna bulk up, right? Now with protein, you're solid, but if you're overdoing it with the carbohydrates, that's where the bulkiness is gonna come from. You 9 times out of 10, you won't bulk up and you won't get super huge off of protein. A lot of times it's the empty carbs, and it's the simple carbohydrates. That's the overlying thing that kind of takes people out of being super lean to being bulky. Some guys, that's what they want. They want to be bulky, but for females, they really have to, especially if they're trying to get just super lean and fit.
And I think you said it real quick, and I don't want to gloss over it because I'm gonna just call this a jewel alert. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, I hear women say that's the big thing. I don't want to get too muscular, whatever. And people think that those results are a function majority of the training instead of the fuel. That thing. And I said this too. I don't know who I was talking to, but that whole caloric deficit thing and the whole money and the budget and thing like that, you've been saying that for the last couple of years. Like, hey man, if you want to lose weight, you got to be at a caloric deficit. It's a very simple thing. But until I really got that in and out ratio of the numbers, I couldn't really get control over it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And now that I understand, all right, I got X amount of calories I can spend today. You know what I'm saying? What do I want to spend them on and stay within my budget? You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to transition this into another thing, but I just started looking at it like that. And even like you said with the workout, that's exactly how I experienced it. Because at first I'm just looking at the app following direction and I'm like, all right, I see the rhythm. Boom. We're going to start off with lower body, which is the foundation. You know what I'm saying? Then we're going to start with the upper body, which will round that out. Then we're going to do a full body, and then we're going to do the cardio and the core. So I seen the rhythm to it, but that diet piece is a big thing that people overlook. And I want to say another thing too, because you mentioned it too. And I think that this is a part of what goes into your success, is that you're a product of the product. So when you talk about you started working out at 14, and when you said it to me, you were like, bro, it's going to work. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even like, yo, try it, see how it is. It was like, it's going to work. And I know that that's a function of being a product of the product. A lot of times I see a lot of personal trainers, they're not even in shape, but it don't even seem like they got people doing things that's really going to give them results. So I think that's definitely one of the biggest things for me, is because I know that you're a product of the product. But let me ask you this question, is that when did the inspiration for Grind Time, when did you first have that? Was it an extension of your athletic career? When did you realize there's a need? And before you answer that question, I want to say it this way, because I got to be honest, man, the first time I went to the gym, I knew you were different and I knew what you did was different. You're clearly in the results business. Most people are in the, hey, what do you want? I'll just do whatever you want. But you're committed to getting people results and specifically training them for specific reasons. So, excuse me. How did you niche down on that? How did you arrive at that this was the way you wanted to go about it and not just be in the gym training people personally? How did the vision for what you're doing now, how did that come to fruition? How did you see it?
Well, before, before it wasn't even a thing. After playing ball, I wanted to coach. I thought I wanted to coach, right? And then I was going, finishing up my senior year, and I just saw like I just was able to see like the coaches and the coaching being so strenuous, like, and they don't really have the time and I kind of switched it up. I said, you know what, if this NFL thing don't go, the way I wanted to go, I would coach, but I'm not looking to coach on that level because it's just, so high school coach, and be an entrepreneur. I really, at that time, I'll be honest with you, I really didn't know what, I was going to be doing at the time. And then I trained at this place when I was preparing for the NFL and, getting ready for the combine and things of that nature. And I kind of saw what they were doing. And I'm like, dude, this right here, if I could do something, this would be cool. They're training athletes, they're training, regular adults, they're getting them results. And this is like, I could see myself doing this, right?
What was the difference for you though? What did you see the difference between like coaching in a traditional sense, but then being more of a strength, I don't know if I'm calling it right, a strength trainer coach that's specific on certain results as it pertains to this particular sport that you playing? How did you make that transition from just general not want to do the coach and then specifically on this? Like when did that tipping point happen?
Well, I think at one point, it was football players. I just wanted to coach football players. It was I was so locked into the sport, and as I got older and as football became less and less of a thing for me in general, I just felt like I would be, I just felt like my duty is to just help as many people as possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I knew that, a lot of what changed my life and put me in a great position was the fact that, hey, I was an athlete and being an athlete, but a lot of what I didn't know when I was young and the things that I knew as an adult or the guy finishing college, I knew I could help a lot of athletes. I think for me, I just recall like even when I was at the place and I was working out, I was like, dude, if I'd have had this, if I'd have knew how to do this when I was young, I'd have been in a whole nother situation. I'd have been in a way better position. If I had this mindset, like if I had a guy that spoke to me the way I speak to these kids, I would have been, you know what I mean? So I knew I had a passion for that. I had a passion for that part of the coaching mindset and understanding that, a lot of times it's just a conversation. It's just a conversation and being able to wrap that conversation in intention, right? And being able to get these kids or these individual steps. Like, dude, like, I know what you want to do. I get it. I've been there, I've done that, but you're doing it the wrong way. Like you're going about it the wrong way. You training when everybody else is training, right? You want to be an All-American, but you're doing the same thing everybody else is doing, right? Thanks. Your focus is you watch film when everybody else is watching film, right? You're in the gym when everybody else is in the gym. The thing that's going to separate you, right? And this is what talking, because I started off training athletes first. Yeah. This is before I got into adult fitness. So, so what happened is I was pretty much mentoring these kids as I was training for the league, right? And I wasn't a coach yet, but I was in that gym all the time, training and working out and prepping for the NFL. So I was just, that's my passion. That's where I come from. Yeah. So anytime I had an opportunity to speak to one of these kids, I just chopped it up. What are you doing, man? Oh yeah, I'm doing this and doing that. So what are you doing on Saturday? What are you doing on Sunday? Nah, because on Saturday I like that. Okay, well, this is why you're not an All-American, right? You know what I mean? This is why you're not getting offers right now.
If you want to know. Yeah.
If and it wasn't even if you want to know, because I know they wanted to know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you competing and you not, and this guy's doing this and this, I know why. So these are the conversations I was having. And then from there, once I started really to pursue the league and, I was on this journey of pretty much like, doing a lot of workouts and doing this and that. And I needed, like a gig, but I couldn't get a job to where at that time I couldn't get a job to where I could just leave and go work out for, just get a call from Oakland and be like, you got to be out here Thursday. I needed a job. So I spoke to the guy that owned that place and say, look, I could coach while I'm a free agent. And that's pretty much how the whole thing started. He was like, hell yeah, you already helping these kids out. They come in here asking for you. You're not even a coach here. So from there, I started like coaching, and started really really dialing into these kids, start helping them get results. And from there, I started seeing the vision. I started seeing things that I would change if I had my own facility. Like, I think a lot of what wasn't happening there is the access time we spent with individuals outside of our training session. That's where the transformation comes. It's like if a person is with you 3 times a week, what's happening the other 168 hours in the week? They with you.
Hold on, Will.
You know what I mean?
I gotta slow it down because
165 hours in the week. I meant
that's a major key right there. How did you stumble across that was the piece that was missing? Like, it ain't what we doing when we with these cats, but it's what's going on with them when they're not. Like, how did you? That seemed like low hanging fruit, like hella common sense, but like that's major to peep that it's a holistic approach. So how did you stumble across that was something that was important? Like, what was going on in these kids' heads outside of what they were doing when they were in your presence?
Well, because this is the conversation I was having with them all the time.
Yeah.
My whole thing is I've always known, bro, since the reason I was an All-American, right? The reason I was an undersized linebacker. I was one of the top linebackers top linebackers in the country coming out of Florida. And people couldn't understand, like, this guy, like, when I would go on visits, they like, this Will Beckford, like, this is the guy. But once they turned on the film, they like, okay, okay, I get it. I understand. But the reason why I was able to have those accomplishments and be able to be a top recruit was because of the work I was doing outside of the facility, outside of Blaze Central High School. I knew that. I was waking up in the morning, I would work out, I would go to school, I would work out in the middle of school, like at gym time, then I would go to practice, and then I would run after. It was a lot of things that I was doing outside of the presence of the coaches, right? And I knew that. I knew a lot of what was happening with me wasn't just general talent. It wasn't because I was 6'4", 245 pounds. I was coming out of high school, I was a linebacker, I was 5'10" and a half, 180 pounds.
Damn.
But I was a top recruit, right?
Yeah.
And I had that mentality, and then once I grew and got bigger, that meant I still had the same mentality. So it just made me more of a force as a player. But the things that separated me at that time, especially when I was young, when most kids are not thinking and locking in like that, the ones that excel do, but most of the kids, most young athletes don't think like that. They just like, I just need to go hard when the coach watching. I need that pat on the back. Like, when I'm at practice, I need to be going hard. When I'm in the workout in the gym with the team, I need to be going hard. And that was the separator, dude. And that was the conversation I had with kids on numerous occasions, and it was the separator. So I already knew that. And that was one of the first questions I would ask a kid that I came in contact with. What are you doing, bro, outside of here? What are you doing when you're not, And most of them, 90% of them was like, confused. Instead of saying, man, I do this, I watch film when I come home. After I'm done with my homework, I study film. I do this. When I get up in the morning, I do this. And they didn't have like true structure on things that's going to separate them and put them in a better position. So it was a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, that was what makes all the difference. I tell my children all the time, man, it's not about what people see or what's noticed. It's about your philosophy, about how you approach everything. It ain't about just doing it while it's on the record. It's those things that you're doing, those habits, those day-to-day, routines that you're doing that's going to have a bigger impact than those little, than your regimen and stuff. So that's a major key. You mentioned a mindset and, just what I know of you. I know you're a reader. You know what I'm saying? They say leaders are readers. How did you get involved in like just the whole personal development aspect, the mental part of it? How did you get turned on to that part of it?
Well, I mean, for me, man, I'll be real, like it was studying and it was school when I was in school.
Yeah.
But I wish I was in more focused on personal development when I was in school, because it would have been a separator. I
Yeah.
would have had a jump on I would have had a jump on a lot of, on what I'm doing now. And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I'd have
Yeah.
been way further ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just realized, man, and I started, with social media, I just started following, I started following the successful people.
Yeah.
And you realize through following the successful people, if you are smart and you got any kind of wits about yourself, you will study and mimic what they're doing. And most successful people, 99.9% of successful people, they have a morning routine and they read, right? And that's the game changer. And for me, it's like, if he's doing that and he's doing that, why not me? So,
Yeah.
my bad, dude. My
Nah,
dog is like,
nah,
you hear the dog in the back?
no, I didn't. I
All
didn't.
right.
No, it's all good. Yeah, no, that's the thing, man. That mental is what precedes anything you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like you reversed into, I don't even want to say reverse, like it's some set order to it. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let me ask you this question. What do you feel is the biggest obstacle people have that prevents them from getting in shape or honestly being successful in general? I mean, you and I talk about this a lot of times offline, is that the principles for achievement don't change. I mean, you could swap out the genre, you could make it sports, you could make it business, you could make it whatever, but the success principles don't change. So what do you think the biggest challenge is for people getting in shape and or being successful? Because I think there's a parallel to it. And the thing, and let me caveat say this real quick, is because it ain't a person that's watching this or listening to this that would not prefer to be in shape if they had a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember being a kid, the first time you seen an action figure, I was telling my daughter when we were driving to school, and she's like, Dad, I was telling her I injured my shoulder. She's like, well, why do you need shoulders? Like, this is my daughter telling. I'm like, well, I don't know if it's a male or a
Right.
female thing, but I was
Right.
explaining to her, I said, sister, for a boy, the first time you see an action figure in your brain, that's the first time you see the anatomy of a body.
Right.
And as a boy, I'm like, shit, I want to look like Superman. I want to look like He-Man. Like, why would I not want to look like that? You know what I'm saying? And we grow up doing our little push-ups and curling or whatever we think is gonna. So I believe that everybody would prefer to get in shape, so much to the point where we're manipulated by our desire to want things, but our inability to do the work to achieve it, which is why there's whole industries built on pretending that it's a shortcut, whether it's pills, the late night ab roller and all that type of thing. But what do you think is the real obstacle that prevents people from having the kind of body that they want, or having the success that they want? And for the listeners, I want you guys to understand, you can't say it, but Will walks around like an action figure. This ain't no like I'm preparing for nothing. You live this, which I think is what lends the credibility to it. But what do you think is the biggest challenge for the average person in terms of getting in shape and staying in shape?
Well, I think, in my opinion, most people don't believe deeply enough that they can achieve it. Like, it's not that belief is a game changer. Like, if you believe something, then it won't be, okay, I don't see results in a week, in 2 weeks, so I'm gonna stop. Like, when you truly believe that it can be achieved, then it's a game changer. And that's the thing. Most people, because you can get people that they do it and they fail, and they do it and they fail. But once that switch, once that it clicks for them, and it clicks and they really believe it, because like I said, a lot of times, man, it can be who you're talking to, who you communicating with, it can be your support system. It can be a lot of things going against that belief, that true belief that you need to be successful, right? Whether it's in business, whether it's in, your fitness and health, whether it's in your relationship. Think about this. If you and your wife want to be in a super strong relationship, right?
Yeah.
But you got 6 or 7 friends that's in shitty relationships. Every time they with you, they talking about their spouse. And if she got the same thing going on her end, all her friends is single, they talking about their spouse anytime they get together, how's it going to strengthen your relationship? Right? You got what I'm saying? So it's for me, I think it's a true, like, first and foremost, you and your wife have to believe that you guys are going to last forever. That's number one. That's true belief.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
looking
yeah.
at your kids, you like, this shit is gonna happen. It's gonna be forever. We're gonna see y'all grow up.
Yeah, yeah,
Y'all
yeah.
kids,
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? And then you have that support system has to be there. If you got a bunch of negative people around you, because your support system can be a coach, it could be a marriage coach, it could be counseling, right? And it could just be a group of friends that when you look around, you like, dude, we need to get like that. Like, that's how I want to be. And that anytime you talk to Will saying, dude, you know, y'all got it. You know, you just got to do this, you got to do that. And Will is like, okay, and I'm not saying that just Will, but I'm saying you my guy.
I'm
So
with you. Yeah,
it's like, dude, Will brought his wife, you know, flowers to the job for his anniversary. I ain't do that in a, you know, like I probably need to pick that up, you know, and Greg, you know, he took his wife every Wednesday, him and his wife go on date night. So I'm gonna pick that up, right? So it's no negativity, it's all positivity. And the from the positive things, you're able to grab from here, you're able to grab from here. And it's not negativity. It's not like every time you talk to Will, he's talking down on his wife. Every time you talk to Greg, he's talking down on his wife. And now you thinking negative about your wife because his wife ain't doing right. His wife ain't doing right. You like, man, what's like, well, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just bad energy, right? So, like I said, for one, it's a strength and belief. Like you really, really, really. So getting back to the fitness, you really got to be able to look in the mirror and say, this shit coming off. I ain't stopping until I'm at my goal weight. I'm not stopping until I'm 10% body fat, 12% body fat, wherever you want to be. I'm not stopping until it happens. And I'm gonna keep pushing and I'm gonna keep cranking. Now I need a system. I need a structure. What is my structure? What are the things that I'm going to do every day? 5 things, right? There's 5 things I need to do every day. For one, I need to get up early. You know what I'm saying? I need to get up early. What do I do when I get up early? I drink 16 ounces of water, you know, and I write down my goals, my fitness goals. Boom, boom, boom. I take out my clothes, I put them in my bag. That's number 2. Number 3, right? I'm already structured. Just saying this is not the structure, but I'm saying like you have these things. Number 3, I have in my food journal everything that I'm going to eat, right? Number 4, right? I put in, you know, my training time when I'm going to actually work out. When it's in the calendar, it's important, right? If it's not coming from your bank account or if it's not in the calendar, it's not really that important, right? So I lock it in and I have my time when I'm going to actually train, right? And the last thing is, you know, whatever else you want to put, you know, write down the goals or prepare for the next day or be the 5th thing. So now we have a structure of these 5 things that we're doing every day. Dude, it's hard to not reap the benefits of true consistency when you have a structure and a plan, right? But all that will not happen if you don't have true belief in what's actually of the outcome that you want, right? So that's when we're looking at this thing in a whole, that's the main culprit is belief. Because like I said, we're talking about athletes. If an athlete don't feel like I can be a Division I athlete, I don't care what the structure is. I don't care what, it's not gonna happen. Because he's not gonna follow the footsteps to do what he needs to do because he don't have a strong enough belief that it's possible. You got what I'm saying? So this goes with anything.
Yeah, and I do. I understand. I mean, now, do you think that belief is a byproduct of confidence? Like, where do you think belief comes from? Like, if we're busting it down, like the ingredients of belief, like if it's a dish, like what do you think the ingredients of belief are? You think it's confidence? You think it's commitment? I mean, I know commitment's got to be in there, but I feel like commitment will probably come after belief. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Where do you think one's belief comes from? Because if that's the missing ingredient, I don't want to simplify it. Like, you could say whatever you're trying to do that you're not successful in, we could logically say you just don't believe in yourself.
Well, I think there's a structure with belief, you know, because I'll be honest with you. There's no one that's going to have the confidence if they don't have the belief first. Confidence, you got to believe in it to have confidence. I can't just wake up and say I got confidence in getting fit or making $1 million or I got confidence that I'm gonna buy this house, but it doesn't happen without belief.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
think it's a system. I think it's more so looking at and pretty much weighing the pros and cons and selling to yourself that this thing is possible.
Yep.
You can look in the mirror and say, why not? Look in the mirror, why not? You know, why shouldn't I be living like I want to live? Right? And normally if you ask yourself these questions, you'll get the answer,
Yep.
right?
Every
Why
time.
why should I be walking around 150 pounds overweight? Why? When I see all these people, I'm on social media more than anything, and I see all these people with these huge transformations. Why should I be walking around 150 pounds overweight? Why should I be, living in this house when I know I'm capable of living in that house?
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
and if you simply ask yourself like that question, you'll get the answer. It's like, yeah, why not? And
The answer is always
normally,
why not. The answer is
that's
always
what I'm
why
saying.
not. Yeah, the answer is always why not.
100%. You're
Yeah.
not gonna say, yeah, because I'm this and I'm that. And you also, and even if you still can, transfer that train of thought. You know what I mean? Like it's an easy, why not? You know what I mean? Because a lot of times what happens is what throws people off from having true belief is the work that goes into making it happen. Right?
Now, hold on. Put a pin in that right there. And I had to say this to my daughter the other day, right? And Jim Rohn, Jim Rohn talks about the price and the promise, right? And
yeah. Let's go. Let's get it.
Yeah,
nah,
man. So
let's
he
get
started.
it. Let's talk about
So
it.
he started talking about the price and the promise, right? And I had to back up off of something because with my kids, like you're a parent, right? And as a parent, you're like, damn, why am I saying stuff more than once? You know what I'm saying? Like kids just need that repetition. Is it that they're being disrespectful? Are they absent-minded? So I pulled off of it a little bit. I'm fresh off of Ron. I'm price and promising, and he was talking about how once the children understand the promise, they'll be willing to pay the price. So this is how I broke it. This is what I hit my daughter with. Boom. I was like, listen, anything that you're willing to work for will never be easy. But what I can guarantee is that it'll be worth it.
Yes. Let's go.
So
Talk about it.
So the question is, everybody's like you said earlier, what are you doing when everybody's not doing something? You're taking it off. And the reason why you do that is because you don't believe in the promise. You think that magically some way you're going to get ripped off if you work too hard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you like, damn, I ain't have to do 20 push-ups. I could have did 15 and still been straight.
Right.
Like it's a mentality. And I think that once the promise is clear, then the answer is whatever it takes. Because if you do whatever it takes, it's gonna be worth it. It ain't gonna be easy. It's not gonna necessarily be simple. It's gonna require something of you, some skin in the game, some sacrifice, putting something on the line. But if you know that it's gonna be worth it, for me, that's my new thing. And she sat back and I said, sweetheart, I said, you ain't getting good grades for me. You're not keeping your room clean for me. You're learning the principles of getting things done and understanding that effort is rewarded by value, and it ain't no way to get around that.
Yeah, no doubt.
So if you're looking in the mirror and I'm like, damn, I could be in my 40s, I could have a six-pack, I could have energy, my clothes can be fitting right, I can feel good about anything that I'm doing because I've taken care of the most fundamental part, which is my health and my body. Like, how would that not translate into more benefits for a person? And I think what happens is that people deal with cost and price too much and don't think about the value.
I hear that.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear that.
So that's what I think it is, and that's what it was for me, and that's my philosophy, is that when you just recalibrate to what the promise is, then the price becomes a non-issue.
No doubt.
It becomes a non-issue. So I just wanted to add that little caveat, because I feel like people think that they ripping themselves off if they try too hard. You know what I'm saying? Or are they ripping themselves off if they stay committed?
Right.
Like you can't never rip yourself off.
You can't go back by staying committed. You can't go back by moving forward. Like the commitment is moving forward. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's, you know what I mean? So you can't, you know, again, you can't go backwards by moving forward. And when you look at commitment, that's just forward progress,
Yeah.
right? Because as long as you consistently stack up those workouts, as long as you consistently stack up your nutrition to where you are eating exactly how you're supposed to be consuming your nutrition,
Yeah.
right? You're drinking your water, you're getting your sleep. As long as you consistently do that, it's inevitable. You know, you getting to where you want to be, fitness wise, it's inevitable. It's gonna happen. Will it happen in 2 months? You know, will it happen in 3 months? Will it happen in 12? You gotta think about it. Most people that's out of shape, they've been out of shape for a long time. It's not like it just happened, right? So when you make the commitment, if you've been out of shape for 10 years, you gotta commit and understand that it took you 10 years to get out of shape, might take you 10 years to get in better shape.
One of the things you said, I don't know if this was a live or one of your videos or one of your reels, but you were talking about that exact thing about, like, you know, if you're getting acclimated to a new process or whatever, you can't just jump in it and
100%.
think you're going to just transform your whole life in a day. It's almost setting you up for failure. Like I remember when we was young, you and your homeboys like, yo, we're gonna really get in shape. You go and do that first 2.5 hour workout that one day.
Right.
You get up the next day, whole body sore. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you like, man, I ain't working out for weeks. And I think it's
100%.
important, you know, just like when we're driving, you don't slam on brakes. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm coming from the barber game, so it's all about gradual transitions and fades. So why would you just abruptly throw yourself into something that your body hasn't made an adjustment to? And I think that honestly, that's one of the big fizzle out, you know, the February fizzle out for most people when they set out these New Year's resolutions, is that you're committing something that you haven't even built a habit in your routine to yet. So
exactly.
So what do you recommend for people just trying to transition into something and not being too hard on themselves about, because I feel like, maybe for me, I'm speaking for myself. I feel like when you know you ain't been doing what you're supposed to be doing, you have a tendency to try to make up for it instead of just starting fresh. Like you understand what I'm saying? Like, why do you think people do that?
Well, I mean, I understand the consistency is more important than the plan.
Yeah.
Right. And ideally, we need to build a consistency. We need to build proper habits first before we focus so much on the plan. Right. Ideally, when I talk to clients for the first time, they're like, look, man, I want to train 5 times a week. They don't understand the nuances of what has to happen in order for you to fully transform, right? And have a true transformation. So I'm gonna train 5, because they look, and this is all social media, it's all online. I'm gonna train 5 times a week. I'm only eating chicken and broccoli. I'm drinking all water. I'm done with coffee. I'm done with tea. You know what I mean? And 3 days in, they like, man, I don't know. Like, I'm already tired of eating chicken and broccoli. My body hurt. You know, I haven't had a coffee in 2 days. This might not be for me. Not understanding that I need to get consistent on, first and foremost, even if I don't have a plan, I need to get consistent on just understanding how to make better choices with my nutrition, right? First and foremost. Okay, when I get up in the morning, I don't go to Dunkin' Donuts and get a donut and, you know, and get a donut and a this and a that. First and foremost, you know, it's a better choice. Even if I have to go to Dunkin' Donut, I'm gonna get a power breakfast sandwich, right? And I'm gonna get a water, right? Just better choices, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I gotta get it, because like I'm thinking about, like, we're gonna have to bring this one back, because I already see we just got too much to talk about. Like, I'm thinking about the choices piece, right? So before I turned 40, right, one of my things was, I'm gonna walk around with a 34 waist, which I haven't had since damn near getting measured for senior prom. You know what I'm saying? 34, 32 waist. I'm gonna feel a certain way. And I did it. But
you hit me. You hit me. You like, bro, like,
but
I don't know if that's now.
No. That's the first. I'm gonna tell you right now in the transition. I'm gonna speak to the choices and I'm gonna speak to the diet type, right? So when I did that the first go round and I accomplished my goal, I felt like I was sacrificing, right? And anytime in your brain you got something framed as a sacrifice, then you're telling yourself it's something you want to have that you can't have. You know, like I used to smoke cigarettes, and I tell people all the time, you can't quit smoking cigarettes and stop smoking cigarettes. You got to become a non-smoker.
Mm-hmm.
It's different because
Right.
if you
100%.
quit, because if you're quitting something, that means you're being forced to do something you don't want to do. And in the back of your mind, you're going to come back and be like, I want to do what I want to do.
Right. 100%.
So when I first lost the weight, it was like, yeah, boom, my birthday, I'm gonna be looking good. I'm gonna be getting into these jeans. I'm throwing away all my 36s. I'm only wearing 34. If I can't fit it, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I went through this whole thing. And then after my birthday, I felt good, but I didn't adopt the psychology. I didn't adopt the philosophy, the day-to-day, how am I making choices? And so when you talk about a lifestyle change, yeah, we could train and get this result for spring break or our wedding or whatever the event is. But what I recently made the transition from is that I don't want to be in shape for no event to take no pictures. I want to live in shape.
Yeah.
So the difference in the choices, like you said, is that when I go, like I told you the other day, I'm like, damn, I love Simply Lemonade. I love Simply Orange Juice. Well, you can't drink a gallon of Simply Orange Juice with all the sugar in it and get the kind of results that you're going to get from drinking water. So for me, the biggest shift was the philosophical change about how I look at my choices relative to what I'm up to. So to your point, you know, as a dad, I seen you at the carnival this year. Like, you know, you're in situations, you at the beach with your family, you at the carnival, ain't nothing but funnel cakes and pizza. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you navigate that? Do you go on ahead and get the Caesar salad in the water? Do you split the funnel cake with your son and just get it on the back end? But it's the philosophy behind how you make your choices. And for me, that was what the biggest shift, because for me, historically, if I got to meet a deadline or if I got to do something, I can do it. But how do you maintain the results after you won that particular game? When you got that particular ring, how do you keep that going? And it sounds like it's really just a philosophy on how you make your choices.
And listen, bro, you human. Like, you're human. Like, for one, if I want funnel cake, I understand like that one funnel cake is not going to throw me off path, right? I understand like, you know, the thing that's going to throw me off path if I do the funnel cake and then I follow up the funnel cake with a corn dog, and then I have some fries with it, and then I have a soda, and then I wake up in the morning and we go to IHOP and I get waffles, and then that's the problem. So the thing is, man, when you're in tune and you understand what you need to be doing on a day-to-day basis, right? You'll make better decisions. But even when you pretty much I call it a free fall, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even when you're in the movies and you want to get a burger with fries, I don't guilt eat. You know what I'm saying? If I want to get a burger, I do the right thing so much to where if I want to get a burger and fries, I'm good.
And you're gonna
because
enjoy
I
that
understand.
Yeah.
100%. I understand I had egg whites and oatmeal in the morning. I understand I worked out and I trained and I burned 800 plus calories. I can show you right now. You know what I mean? I burned 800 plus calories. And so now I did that. My lunch, let's say I had, chicken and vegetables, or I had like a tuna sandwich. So I understand, like, if I want to get a burger and fries, I'm solid. And I'm disciplined enough to wake up the next morning and do the right thing and not allow that cheat meal. And always remember, cheat meal, not cheat day. Guys, do not adopt the cheat day mentality. You don't need a cheat day, right? You psychologically, and me personally, I feel everyone should have the ability to go off a little bit. Like, you should be able, if wings are your thing, you can go off and you can have, you go to a party and they have wings. I take a couple wings, couple this, and that's it. But you have to have the discipline to understand, like, I can't overdo this. You know what I mean?
That's the word. That's the word.
Sustainability. It's all about sustainability.
Yeah.
Because when you realize you're not going to be able you're not going to be able to do this particular thing for the rest of your life, you understand that. And you understand, yeah, I still like burger, I still like fries, still like pizza, but I need to understand when to move forward and when to dial back. You know what I mean? So sometimes you'll see me, I'll be like, look, this morning I had this and that. I'm at the fair with my kids and I'm not doing anything. I would rather just not partake in any of that.
Yeah.
Right. But it's the discipline to know that. My wife's like, what, you're not gonna, I'm good. What, I'm supposed to eat a cheesesteak? Like I already, like, no. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. Get the kids what they gonna get.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll get a water and I'll be solid. I eat when I get home. And I eat something, have something better when I get home. I, grab a salad on the way home. But that's the mindset and that's the discipline that most people look at. We talk and they're like, man, you've been in college, but since college, dude, you've been in shape. Like it's just genetics. I'm like, bro, we had the same genetics going in college, bro. You was ripped up and you was lean and I was ripped up and I was lean. What's the difference now? We got the same genetics, bro.
Yo, isn't that funny,
I work out
man?
6-7 days a week and I eat right. You know what I'm saying?
But don't you think it's fun?
Yeah,
don't you think it's funny? I was reading this book. I don't know if it's Dan Hardy, but it's called Mindset. It was talking about the growth mindset and the fixed mindset, right? And the differences in approach, right? And how when people see somebody making it happen, you want to already start counting yourself out and be like, well, he was always like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everything but that joker gets up earlier than you. Everything but when you're not working out, he's working out. Everything but we got this way to kind of like write ourselves off. But, you said something earlier and, I got to go back to the big homie, Jim Rohn. He said something one time and it speaks exactly where we're at is like, he said, you're either doing one or two things every day. You're compounding daily errors in judgment or you're compounding daily disciplines.
Yeah.
And for me, with this transformation, what happened for me is that I'm a fixed person, right? So I get into this all or none thing with my brain. And I'm almost depriving myself, which doesn't give me the flexibility.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To adapt
100%.
to things. You know what I'm saying? Like you think about skyscrapers and I'm going to tie it together how they're built. Them buildings are made out of steel, but they're designed to move with the wind.
Yeah.
So it's about being firm, but being flexible. I'm talking to myself right now because I'd be like, damn, if I eat something bad, all right, instead of getting back on, you might have a compound daily error in judgment. Like, well, that ain't going to do nothing. I'm going to just do this. And then it gets away from you. So it's like just sticking to the script the majority of the time,
right? But
still allowing yourself to be human. I think that piece right there is the biggest one because people beat themselves up and they're like, if I love myself, I got to be ready to go at this in an inhuman way or it's all or nothing.
But another thing too, I want to also touch on that as well. Here's one thing that, I don't talk about a lot. A lot of people don't talk about a lot. Well, a lot of people do, but they don't really like put it into context.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain discipline and a certain mindset you have to have that's a little bit weird and that's a little bit crazy when you are trying to get to your goal. So if there's a difference, right? So maintenance, my whole goal is I stay around 10% body fat. I train, 5 to 6 times a week. I understand my calories on a day-to-day basis. I'm super consistent with my nutrition. So the sustainability and the flexibility that goes on in my life is going to be different from a woman that's just coming in or a dad that's just coming in that's looking to hit his goal weight. The consistency and the discipline that goes with that is totally different. So I don't ever want to say it's not going to be hard because what happens is there's a lot of people that has never really accomplished, like when it comes to their fitness, they've never been able to get there because once it started getting hard, they say, you know what, I've been working out such and such, so I can have these cookies. And the thing is, if they haven't built up that rigidness, they haven't built up that mindset to be like, nah, is this going? One thing, anybody that's trying to lose weight and get in great shape, you always, in the midst of your transformation, need to ask yourself one thing: is it gonna help or hurt me? Is it gonna, is these Oreos gonna help me get to where I want to be, or is it gonna hurt me? The reason I say with you, it's about sustainability, because we had a goal. We had a goal, 20 pounds. We set up, hey, look, this is what we were gonna do. Man, you like, bro, if I 20 pounds, bro, I would. So as soon as you hit that 20, I'm like, bro, you have wiggle room. Like, you've been consistent long enough to get to the destination. Right. So now I'm consistent enough. I put the information in the MapQuest. I got to the state. I'm here on time. I met my family. Now I can ride around and see the city. I can ride around and see the city now. You know what I mean? I'm at the destination. So the mindset is like, it's a difference between stopping before you get to your destination and moving around, or going straight to the destination. And once you get there, you can move around and you can go do your thing. But in transformation mode, especially if you've never been there, there's a consistency, and there's a mindset and a determination that has to move beyond your comfort zone. The thing is, most people has never been out of their comfort zone. And once it started getting tough and they home and they stressed out at work, and the fridge is full of ice cream and cookies and this and that, they don't have that discipline to say, nah, this will hurt me. The first thing they say, they start justifying. Most people gonna justify, man, if I get 3 or 4 scoops, that ain't gonna really hurt me. They look at the thing. Bro, 3 scoops, that's like, you know what I mean? Not understanding that sugar is a dopamine hit. So when you get
about to get high,
hit, you about to get high. You haven't eaten sugar in 2 weeks. That's like crack cocaine. You looking at it and saying it's only 30 calories, not understanding that it's a dopamine hit. And now when you wake up the next day, listen, when you get that dopamine hit, dude, and from that sugar, all while you sleeping, your mind is saying, damn, like, boy, hey, listen, bro, like, that's what I've been missing. You know what I'm saying? So you eat the oatmeal and the egg whites, and you're like, this ain't enough, dude. I'm gonna just go get some munchkins. I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna order one munchkin, right? And that's the thing, that mindset, bro. And it's just a little bit at a time. And it started throwing you off, not understanding that it's not so much the calories, it's the mindset, as well as the scientific aspect of the nutrition and what's happening as your body consuming the sugar and these simple calories, these simple carbs. You know what I mean?
And for sure. And it's the mindset. And how do you think momentum plays in it, right? So I'm a visual person. I joked around. I told you the other day, we were talking offline, like, when you have the commitment, dude. I was at the corner store the other day, get my water, get my little omelet, right? And I was about to get some chips, man. I felt like you peeked through the bag of chips, like, bro, this ain't what we trying to do right now.
No, you know what I'm saying? You don't need it.
And it's hard to throw a bad decision after a series of good decisions. And I feel like once you vote for yourself, you touched on getting up early in the morning. I started that 10, 15 years ago. One of my executive high level, he's like, bro, you gotta get up at 5 a.m. He's like, all the players get up at 5 a.m. He's like, I'm telling you what I do. You don't gotta do it. He said, but everybody I know that's playing at this level, they get a jump on their day that way. And so, like you're saying, with the choices, I think it's just a function of when you got a series of good choices, you feel crazy if you're serious about yourself and what you want, having a bad choice after. So do you think it's some science to getting some momentum going? Because you don't really want to offset it. Like this last week, I did something to my shoulder and I can't do the pressing like I want to. It feels better. I'm good. I'm mobile.
Right.
And I was about to use that as an excuse. Like you talking about being smart and justifying it. I was like, yeah, I ain't going to the gym because I'm healing right now. This is what I told myself. And I was going to run. I was about to sign off on the excuse and everything. I was like, bro, that don't got nothing to do with lower body. that even if you just get up and stay in the habit, like you voting against yourself, and you got to be careful, man, because you start, it's
Consistency.
like you pull the ice cream bag, you get to adding up calories, you start figuring out a
Right.
way to backslide. So I think it's the
Right.
consistency, the discipline. I think that once you got a series of wins, you kind of don't want to break your streak a little bit, and then you can use that momentum to kind of keep yourself going. I mean, that's what it's been for me. And also too, like you said, not beat myself up. I go ahead and have some nachos or some Tostitos, I could couch it like, this is not a behavior that I want to consistently do. This is a thing
Right.
I can get back on. I can
And it's
get back in
fine,
the game.
but it's fine. Like I said, you know, it's all in transformation. Like I feel like if you have a goal, if the goal is 50 pounds, right?
Yeah.
And you lose those 50 pounds and now you're in maintenance mode, that's you've already ran the race and you won.
Yeah.
Now let's keep it consistent. Let's keep it, you know, unless I'm on another journey and it's like, okay, now the next journey is for me to go here. Now I need to buckle down. I need to lock in a little bit more, and I need to move through that next journey. So that's what I'm saying. But what you were saying, you was touching on the consistency. The thing is, when you're intentional and you understand what you're doing, you make better choices because you know that there's the repercussions for these things that you're doing. So if I work out and I burnt 400 calories, right, in the workout, but I come and I have the good food, but I also have the empty calories, or you know, from the chips, and the chips is 200 calories. It's like, bro, like I just did all this and I'm gonna eat a bag of chips this big and put 200 calories back in my body. That's not good calories. It makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I'm not gonna finish. I thought about something like,
100%.
It's funny that you brought that up, is because that's how I looked at it, right? When I first started analyzing, like, this is before the caloric deficit, this is before I really understood, you know, what you teach, right? And I was on the treadmill one day, right? And I was getting it, right? It was like an hour. This is when I lost that weight. I was doing 45 minutes of cardio every day and strength training, whatever. I looked at that thing and I'm like, damn, it just took me damn near an hour to burn 450 calories. That's a bag of chips and a half. You know, so I'm a thinking man, and I'm like,
100%.
I got my time. And it's like, dude, are you saying to reward yourself with that terrible processed fuel, you're willing to sacrifice an hour of cardio just to get back to ground zero?
Knowing how hard it is. Like, you getting off the treadmill and you feel you standing in place, it feels like your feet still moving.
And I'm
that
like, you did that for a bag of chips? Like, you were talking about hustling backwards. I was like, okay. So, and it's funny because the average person cannot make this shift of the diet thing. You know, I've actually heard dudes say, I'd rather just work out harder. I'm like, dude, that's the most ignorant plan. You're going to get so much less of a return for your time and effort, only to indulge in something that's not getting you closer to your goals like this. The thinking of it is so flawed.
Right.
That I had to really just sit back. It's like, I was like, and the thing is I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you're at this level, but like, I started feeling it in my body. Like if I get something clean, I feel light. I feel agile. 100%. If I get some bread or some chips or some sugar, I could feel it in my body. Yeah. It's like a lower octane fuel. And you're like, damn, you know what was really the return on that?
It's the insulin spikes and crashes. You know what I mean? When you consume that sugar, your insulin shoot up, right? And as your body grows through that digestive process, right, and start to break down that, you know, that those empty and those simple calories, your insulin spikes, and that's where you feel like, you know what I mean? So a lot of that is it's all nutrition. It's all nutrition based. You know what I mean? So you don't get like huge insulin spikes and crashes when you do complex and you do the nutritious foods, the nutritious carbs. You know what I mean? You get that when you have simple carbs and you have a lot of sugar to where your insulin, like, you know, you can eat something like donuts or something. And as soon as you eat it, you like, as soon as you sit down, you like, You know what I'm saying? Like Thanksgiving and Christmas. You know what I mean? It's you feel it right away. So a lot of that is, like I said, a lot of that is just nutrition.
Yeah.
And it's just the science of it.
Let me ask you this question. I want to shift gears slightly a little bit. We talked about the entrepreneur piece and getting in shape. And I think getting in shape, the principles are the same for success and anything else that you want to do. I also like to highlight entrepreneurs because I feel um like I just honor what it takes to do this, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we've talked about it a lot, just putting everything on the line. You got the success formula because I know you're passionate about what you're doing, but what do you think taught you more about yourself, Will the man? Sports, running a business, being a dad, being a husband. I'm sure it's elements of all, but what do you think taught you the most about yourself to where you had to dig deep and figure out, like, why am I doing this? Like I call it the flag, right? So I feel like a man in his life should have a flag, right? And the flag is something that symbolically represents who you are and what you believe on. You think about putting a flag on the moon or whatever. Will's got a
Mm-hmm.
flag. What do you think contributed the most to you becoming who you are? You know what I'm saying? Like what taught you more? I mean, I know sports, there's great lessons in sports and teamwork. Um, Running a business, you don't know what you don't know until you in a situation realizing what you don't know, you know what I'm saying, and you already in the game. And then also the whole managing, being a husband and then a father at the same time. I'm in that same boat and I know it's a lot to juggle. Like, what do you think taught you the most about yourself, or did anything teach you anything more about yourself? Like, what do you think it was for you?
I think it was entrepreneurship. Like, I saw an Instagram post a while ago, and the guy was pretty much saying, I can't remember who it was, but he was saying you got to be like insane to be an entrepreneur, because there's a piece of it that's crazy, because you're trying to build something out of thin air, right? Most people are not going to truly believe, and people that really love you is not going to truly believe. They're not going to truly believe that what you feel is you're capable of, or what you feel can actually happen is going to happen. So you have to be, to jump out on a limb and to have something that's a logo, to to getting that logo out to the masses, to that thing becoming tangible and that thing becoming actionable, right? To where in my business, you got one client, then you got two clients, then you got three clients, now you got 15 clients. Now you going from training these clients, because now it's still a logo, and it's still even though there's movement and there's action in it, it's still just a logo. You don't have true um it's no true brand awareness. It's not like a true business yet. Right now it's just a hobby. It's a side hustle, so to speak. And we can start side hustles. We can start five or six different side hustles. And it goes from that logo to 15 people, to renting out space, to now it's a true brand. You paying taxes. You know what I mean? To it being so, it's a piece of, like, you got to be kind of you got to be kind of off. You got to be kind of crazy to to go into this, and it's fine. It's fine. I think everyone that has built something substantial goes through this point, right? Because outside of you going through that portion of building your business and being an entrepreneur, there's a lot of uncertainty, right?
Whew.
Because once you dial fully in, and you don't have, so most people, when it's a side hustle, when you have a parachute, right? So when you working somewhere and you moving around, you cutting hair on the side, you selling shoes on the side, it's a side hustle, because your main thing is the parachute. But when you detach the parachute and you go all in, you don't have a parachute. And it has to happen. And the thing about it is the uncertainty that comes with being a business owner, having to pay bills, having an overhead, and not having true help. You look, it's so, and you know, man, there's so many different facets to the business. You have, just the overall structure of the business. And with what I do, I got to get people in the door. Yep. And then I have to manage the people that's actually working for me, right? The front desk, the trainers, and in the midst of managing all that, there's still, you still have to kind of play the top role. So you got people's feelings that get hurt because you say this, because they're not doing this. It's just so many different pieces to it. But like I said, I think the most important thing about this is being able to buckle down and figure it out. And there's been times to where, and getting used to having conversations with yourself. And that's another insane like piece of this. You're gonna have, like, as an entrepreneur, you're gonna talk to yourself. So I'll be talking to myself like it's another dude sitting right there. You know what I mean? Especially, dude, when I was first starting, it's like, yo, the rent coming, like, you built for this though. You know what I'm saying? You built for this. You come from South Bay, dude. You got 10 brothers and sisters. Single parent, like, you built, you good, So those conversations and having the wits to not get overwhelmed, right? To not get stressed out, to buckle down, structure a plan, and stick with the plan. And regardless of how you feel, listen, man, I think, and I'm not at the point of success that I want to be in, but I think I've always been able to be human for 10 to 15 minutes and then get back to it. Like, pandemic, I was human. Oh my God, dude, this and that. What are we gonna do? Bop, bop, bop. I give myself 15 minutes to be like everybody else. But you know what? Okay, I did that. Now what we have to do? Okay, we need to go online. We need to make sure our clients know what's going on. We need to be in front of this thing. We need to go do this. We need to have this many sessions a day. We need to do this. We need to over deliver to the clients. We need to reach out, touch bases. We need to run X amount of fitness challenges so they feel. We need to create a community. We need to reach out to the township to make sure they know. I know soon they'll have kids that need to get out the house. We need to create things there. And that's for me, that's one of the things. Reach out to the resources and people I know. And that's one of the things that allowed us to move through the pandemic and really get to it. The other, 2 months ago, the gym flooded. I pulled up to the gym, this and that, and on the phone, FaceTime with my wife, like this and that, 15 minutes. And guess what I said? Okay. I'm like, babe, I'll call you back. I'm sitting right next to the car, the policeman, because they build it flooded. He's right there. He's like, oh my. I pulled out my pen and pad. I got my baby, my youngest son in the back seat. Okay, what do we got to do? First thing we have to do, boom. Second thing we have to do, boom. I had a checklist of 15 things we have to do, right? And guess what? We was back in the gym in 9 days, right? When in all actuality, I pulled up being a human, thinking it's gonna take it's literally, man, if it's bad like I think it is, it's gonna literally take us at least 2.5 months to get back in there. We gotta rip out this, we gotta do that. But you know what I did? Buckle down and get it done. So I think, having that mindset and being able to, of course, be human in the midst of, being an entrepreneur, but taking a lot of the emotion out of it and being and just understanding and having structure on how you're going to get through whatever situation you're in. That's the most important thing, because most people fail in business. A lot of people went out of business. Gyms went out of business because the first thing they said is, we can't open. That's it. Like, we can't open the doors. Hey, that's it. A lot of stores, a lot of restaurants, we can't open the doors. That's it. The people that really succeeded was, hey, look, we can't fail. We gonna reach out to all our clients. We're going to make sure they know we delivering door to door. When we deliver door to door, we're going to put a peppermint in there. We're going to give them an extra dessert. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And these are the people, the forward thinkers. These are the people that sustained and made this happen. We're going to open up. We're going to put a tent outside. We're going to put the heaters in the tent. That's how you do it. But and I think for anyone that's trying to succeed or trying to have any kind of success in business, that's going to be the mindset. And I think that's one of the things that separated me. I've learned way more from being a business owner and entrepreneur than I did from football. I think football gave me grit. You know what I'm saying? It gave me grit. It gave me fortitude, and it gave me that the championship mindset to understand that I'm capable. But I think business is what is what ascended me as far as being a man and understanding that this is not a one-dimensional thing. It's so many different pieces to it, right? If I wasn't rambling too much, that's
you good. You good.
And the whole the thing that kind of separated, and I think that's the most important part. And just like I said, man, dealing with different people, dealing with your staff, and making sure you got the right systems in the business, and making sure not only the right systems are in the business, that you're in the forefront, and you're making sure you push the right systems, and also that you're leading by example, and you're not doing one thing and telling them to do another thing. It's just so many different pieces to it, to where it forces you to like really look at yourself deeper than you normally would, and start to make the changes in yourself as a man, as a business owner. You
can't be a fat personal trainer, symbolically.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Is what it
100%.
What it comes down to. And, I'm glad you said it like that, because that's what it is for me. Like, I don't think it's anything that forces a man or a woman or a person to dig deeper than being an entrepreneur and being in business, man. Because
right.
you just man, like, and the reason why I want to highlight it is that, we live in a world where it's all about being a boss and being an entrepreneur. And if you didn't choose this life, then you somehow corny or I don't agree with that, man. I want to be, listen, it's not fair. It's not real. It's not fair. And I don't like the shininess of what this looks like on the outside versus what it really is on the inside.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody talk. You got some people that's super successful and they talk about it. But and myself included, it's like, and I'm not, I don't put myself in that category as of yet. But most people don't talk about they don't talk about that part. They don't talk about the back. They don't talk about the depths of entrepreneurship. Most people don't. They talk about it after they're successful and they have, multi-million-dollar corporations and businesses. And they talk about the grit and the fortitude you have to be able to move through and succeed. But
no, yeah, you're right. And honestly, like I talked to you about it before. I mean, even the whole thing with this podcast and connecting the dots is like I told you, is that I want to narrate the process for people that want to see the process. For the people 100%. That don't just want to wait at the table for the food to come out, but for those that want to walk in the kitchen a little bit and be like, okay, what's required to orchestrate all of these things? And is that something that I really want to do? Because I feel like a lot of people are missing either working at a great place and adding some value to something that they're a part of, or a dude that might have become an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur, because we don't really know what's involved in it. And that's why I wanted to ask you that question, because for me, it's the same thing. I mean, being a husband, being a dad, marriage, that stuff is crazy. That's another level. But it ain't nothing that I've had to dig deeper than in myself and ask like you said, talking to yourself. Like my wife laughs at me all the time. Like I'm cool. Like I talk to myself. Like it ain't no like, cause you gotta understand there's a time in this process where it ain't nobody around for a long time. So who the hell you gonna talk to? And if you can't just be like you said, like, you know what I'm saying, with the whole flooding thing, like, and I got to make this caveat for the listeners, because you said it a couple times, like I was just being human. a lot of people don't really know what you mean. Like, what do you mean being human? As opposed to what? What else you? Because in order to submit yourself to this process, there's an inhumane part of it where you don't just to get to feel normal.
Right.
You don't get
100%.
to just feel normal. I tell my kids all the different. I said, my daughter asked me, what's the difference between like being an entrepreneur and like working? I said, well, the difference is, and again, I respect jobs and professions. I'm not one of them
100%.
dudes that try to make it seem like if you ain't doing this, you whack, or I don't like that whole thing. I said, but here's the difference, sweetheart. I said, as an entrepreneur, you eat based off of how many fish you caught, not how long you've been fishing.
Right. Wow. I like that. That's whew. Yeah.
Like, it's just that simple.
That's fire. Yeah, 100%.
One of my old mentors said a man only works a job because he hadn't figured out how to create his own work yet. And that shit ain't easy, man. You know what I'm saying? It ain't easy. And so that's why when I say local legends, like, I know what grit it takes. I know what level of uncertainty you got to take to hustle up some money and to take out a bunch of loans. And it ain't no guarantee of your success. You know, most people ask, you know, well, what's the chances? Man, I don't give a damn about them odds, man.
Right.
When you get into this, you got to be all in, or it's a wrap for everything.
Yeah. Right. Right.
It ain't no, man, I've been working 8 hours. It's time to go. Is the work done or not yet?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a different mentality. It's a different mindset.
And one of the things you say all the time, man, it's like, you know, you know, I talk to you, you like, nah, man, I'm betting on myself. Like, and that's important, bro. Like, you know, a lot of people, a lot of individuals have great potential in them, but they don't bet on themselves. Like, and it's from everything we spoke about, you know, from, you know, and sometimes we talk about fitness stuff and, you know, understanding your caloric deficit and things like that. And you like, nah, bro, I'm not drinking it simply. I'd rather bet on myself. Like, you put it out there so nonchalantly that it's like, but those are the self conversations you have to have in order to be successful. And it's just that mindset and understanding that, you know, entrepreneurship is betting on yourself. Cause ain't nobody, unless you got a partner, it might be two of y'all, but ain't nobody really. This is a whole nother level. And people look, and most people look at it because on social media and because everywhere, like, everyone is preaching, be a boss and work. And then they get in and they start cranking and they realize that I got a gym, but I don't understand how to generate leads. I don't understand how to run ads. I don't even know what KPIs are. You know, I don't like, key performance indicators. Like, how do I manage my gym? How do I understand exactly what do I need to do on a day-to-day basis to get the result that I want, right? How many outreaches, how many people I'm following up with? Is my website SEO, right? Is the SEO on my website like locked in and all good? And, you know, do I need to use a funnel and not just a website? And, you know, do I need to run ads on Instagram? And, you know, if the Instagram ads are working, should I just take that right to YouTube? And when I start running the YouTube ads, should I run it to this because I'm in this area? What targeted demographic do I need to hit? Do I need to hit 40-year-old women, or do I need to, I'm trying to get athletes, do I need to hit 15-year-old kids? But I can't hit 15-year-old kids because the parents are paying for it. So I need to hit the parents. And you know what I mean? This is a constant thing. It ain't, you don't just open the gym and it take off. Don't work like that. You know, how's my referral? Like, how's my referral process? Not getting referrals. Do I have a referral process? A full locked in referral process, right? Why should a person want to refer to me, right? What do they get from referring to me, right? You know, do I need to run challenges? When I run the challenges, how do I get people in the challenges, right? There's a whole, so you feel me? Do I need to incorporate nutrition in my business? Is anybody, you know, now do I need a nutritionist to incorporate nutrition in my business? Or do I need to go get a nutrition certificate? Like, these are things, bro, that it's like this. And once you understand and you have a little more, and this is that the things I just said is the things that go on in every business. Even you running a podcast, it's the same thing. How many listeners am I getting? What sites do I need to put this podcast on to get more viewers on the podcast? How many viewers do I need to have monthly to become monetized? If you already, this is how people, when they start, how many views I need to come monetized. With monetization, what do I need to get a month to put me in a whole nother tax bracket? In the midst of the views I need to get, do I need to put rappers on here? Do I need to put actors on here? Do I need, you know what I'm saying? So these are key performance indicators. It don't change, even if you're in a restaurant. Am I running ads? What type of ads? Do I need to give 20% off? Do I need to get 10% off? Do I need to give them a free this when they do this? Like, so it's all key performance indicators. And that's not just with my business. I understand I could go on any business and look at the business from the outside in and generate a structure on how you get people in the door. And this comes from one bit. This is the only business I've had. This is the fitness business. But it goes for any business that you're putting together, whether you're doing, it's the same thing.
If I'm sitting here listening to you and I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm trying to like break down a DNA of what you're saying. So
I know I speak a lot of
no, but I'm gonna make it plain though, because I speak it. So I'm just being a layman right now. So I'm listening to this podcast. What I pulled away from it is I pulled away passion and loving what you do. Because whether you say it or not, you love what you do. So that's 100%. That's the start. So because loving what you do is going to keep you in it long enough to learn what you need to learn to have time to implement it. See, if you don't love what you do, you're not going to get far enough to learn what you need to know and in time to implement it. And then so that's one piece of loving what you do and really doing and seeing a need. And it's funny because when you said, when you were like, damn, if I had somebody that would have told me this when I was that, then that would have been a game changer. So you identified the opportunity. Any business that I ever started from me having that actual problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, I had that problem. And then you learn something, you're like, man, this is game changer. And then your passion becomes delivering that solution. So that's one thing. And then the second thing you touched on is it sounds like you got to just get really good at asking yourself tough questions and coming up with them answers and being disciplined. I used to hear cats used to tell you, yeah, man, I'm tired of so-and-so coming to the barbershop. I need to start my own thing. I'm tired of these people. I'm making all these money. I need to be I'm like, well, what do you want to get into business for? Dude, like, I need to be my own boss. And I hit him with, you think that's your problem, that you ain't your own boss? If you was your own boss, would you listen to you?
Right.
Would you take orders from yourself? Or would you say the boss ain't here, so we ain't got to do nothing? Or would you do some mommy and daddy ain't home, so I'm going to just do whatever I want to? And you touched on it earlier. It's like you working out when everybody's working out. I feel like on the entrepreneur tip, you got to have your own standards and you got to be your own damn coach and be training with your damn self at the same time. So like when you say, I go back to being human, I don't think that you can be in business and have a single mind. You have to have that mental agility to understand your dashboard, your KPIs. You understand what's my service offering? What am I doing as a leader? Am I living what I'm preaching? Am I attracting the right staff? Because, one thing you said earlier, and it's like, I think it's like when it comes to being a visionary, man, is that when you're a true visionary, by virtue of being a visionary, you already inherently ain't going to have a partner.
Right.
Because nobody can see what you can see if it ain't nothing to see yet.
Right.
So how do you fuel yourself till the scene becomes seen for then? And then people could get on the moment. Yo, I saw what you're doing. Yeah, I like what you're doing. Like, then the people can get the motivation.
It's all actions. Just like with rappers, dude. You got rappers, man, they from their hometown. Nobody supports.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody supports them. And then once, they from Jersey, and once people from New York started supporting him, and cats from Connecticut started talking about him, and then cats from DC started talking about him. And they already have a following and a fan base, and now their social media is jumping off. Then people from the hometown start supporting them, but they didn't see that vision. And the thing is, the only thing, and I don't blame people for, there's one of the guys I was working at the old place I told you that walked into my gym and he was like, yo, you did it, bro. Like, I can't believe, and he's still working at the same place, I've been through I've had 3 different gyms since then, right? And it's just that it's the actions. The separator is, do you believe enough, and are you gonna take the steps on the day-to-day? Are you gonna take the steps and take the actionable steps day in and day out to make it happen? And that's the thing.
And
that's the separator.
And if you don't take the steps, it really just means you don't believe.
You just don't believe, dude. 100%. That's why when we were supposed to be doing we was gonna do something together, right? The guy that I'm speaking on, and I believe, because I knew, I just felt like I knew what I was capable of doing. Of course, it was still, it was still like a thought, and it was still, a thought. But I believed enough to feel like we could do this, but he didn't. You know what I'm saying? And he was older, and I felt like he needed that. He needed that parachute. If I would have told him that I'll do the work, you stay there, I'm gonna get this popping, and once it gets popping, then you could come over here, I'm sure he would have took that up. He would have took it up and been like a partner. But I wasn't with that. No. I did the grind, I did the work. This is, and eventually they were able to see that. Bro, I was in that place. I drew grind time on a sheet of paper. And I'm like, this is gonna be, because I used to always say grind. Like, that was my whole thing, even in college, bro. We gotta grind. And I drew grind time on a piece of paper. And I had a different logo at the time. But they was like, you could tell they thought I was just like, you know what I mean? But it like I said, it went from a thought to a logo. So I actually went and did the logo. So I was doing like side stuff when I was actually working there, doing side stuff. Then I went and got affiliated with this organization. And from there, it's just a little bit at a time, just gradually move. So like I said, man, it's the belief, but, it's the actionable steps on a day-to-day, that gets you to, where you want to be.
And action creates momentum, action creates confidence. And just, it's so funny. I've talked about this before, like the whole Nike slogan, just do it. And I was reading this book, I don't know what it was in, but they were talking about what was so profound about that slogan. And it wasn't do it, because, that's fly. Yeah, do it. I could get that, do it. But the key thing in that slogan is the just part.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not what it said, it's what it's not saying. It not just do it. It's like, I know all the reasons why you shouldn't or couldn't do it. It's hard. It's tough. It's early. Ain't nobody
just do it anyway.
Just do it anyway.
Just do it anyway. That's real. When you
that's
think
why
about
it's so
it,
powerful.
That's real. 100%.
It's like, I know all
and you don't
of
even
that.
see. Yeah, and you don't
just
even
do
see
it anyway.
Anyway, the anyway part is like silent. But
you don't need to see it.
Yeah, but when you hear it, you don't need to see it, and they don't need to say it, but you get it right away. Exactly. You get the fact that with that what just mean? Just saying. What I mean? Just saying anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, so that's crazy. That's super dope. I never thought about it like that. But nah, that's fire. That's super dope. But 100%, dude.
It's subtle, and it's an in action. Action is an investment in yourself, in your own confidence, in your self-esteem, and dreams. And again, I'm going back to the workout. And you said something earlier I wanted to touch on. Is you like, I give them just enough. Like, dude, when I first started doing that workout, so a couple of things were present. I put it out there, and I told you. So it's like, that's the equivalent of writing something down. So
yeah,
now
you're like, nah, I'm gonna stay with it, bro. I'm telling you.
Now I got somebody else that I respect.
Yeah.
That's aware of what I said I'm gonna do. Even if I was thinking about quitting, which I ain't thinking about quitting, I got a partner in this. You know what I'm saying? So I almost can't let you down. I'm like,
No,
Because he
100%.
knows what I'm about. And if I
I'm
say
checking in, I'm like, yo,
I already
what's
know.
going on?
I already know. I already know. So there's that piece. But man, dude, when I first started doing that workout, I'm like, damn, it's hard enough to be challenging, but doable enough to get through it. Man, I was in there doing them planks, shaking like a thief in church, man. The first time I started trying to do planks on the ground. But
Right.
as I started building myself
now you solid.
it's solid.
I know you solid.
You know what I'm saying? It's
100%.
solid. So, you know, just like you said, that Ready, Fire, Aim, that book you were talking about, man, you know, and I got that from you. It's something to just executing and course correct. You know, one thing I learned, and this was, I was in the Bahamas, and me and my brother rented some jet skis, right? And this is a metaphor for life. And I'm going to slow it down because I want people to understand this. I realized that when you're on a jet ski or in a bicycle, you can't steer unless you're moving forward. So until you take an action, it ain't nothing to modify or course correct. It ain't no 100%. U-turns. It ain't no direct. I was nervous.
Gotta start moving.
Because I was like, damn, I'm not going to be able to do this nutritional way. I'm like, but you understand the principle. So just apply the principle and build on top of the principle and take action. You can't watch no game tape if you ain't get on the field.
100%.
So that was one of the major takeaways for me. But in the interest of time, man, because I feel like we could just talk forever. There's so many things that I want to go into, and maybe we might have to do a part 2. I definitely wanted to touch on the parallel in terms of getting in shape, making a commitment, believing in yourself, and then how these principles transition into life and business. And I'm a real advocate for the entrepreneurs because at the end of the day, man, we take the risks to create something for our families, but the ripples from that rock don't just affect our families. They affect our staff, our customers that we're bringing this offering to. It's a very honorable thing. And I know it ain't easy. You know what I'm saying? There's so many pitfalls, and I know what it requires of a person inside, which is why I created this, because I wanted to honor that. You know, when we see people on TV and stars, just like you said, we see the effect, we see the outcome, but we don't see the cause. We don't see what really goes into it. And that's why I wanted to talk about the nuts and bolts of it, man, instead of just the Instagram Lamborghini, take my shirt off, check out my result. Like, nah, man, once you understand the product becomes irrelevant. You can always produce the product when you understand the process. And that's what the difference was for me. Before, I wanted to get in shape to look away. I was more concerned with the product. The transition that I made was learning to love the process because of the lifestyle and how I want to be, not what I want to get to, but how I want to exist as a person. And that distinction was a game changer for me. And you helped me do that. And that's why I was like, you know, I got my list of people, but I was like, I got to get my man on here because you pushed that needle. And we're going to talk later about the dad bod thing and all that. But yeah, man, it's real, man. And you're impacting things. And that's another thing I wanted to say too, man. First time I came in your gym, I was like, it's different in here. The culture is different in here. And I think that it's a testament to the man that you are, because your business and your family reflects, you know, the leader. You know, I'll never forget that return that Remember the Titans movie with Denzel Washington, one of my favorite movies, when Buddy was talking about complaining about dude wasn't blocking or whatever. And he was like, you know, you're a piss poor leader. Bert here was going off on my man Wood Harris, and Wood Harris, like, attitude reflects leadership. You the leader, ain't you? And it spent off on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what entrepreneurship is.
Right. 100%.
It's like, are you living that? Because your business will tell you whether you live in it or if you talking it. That's your litmus test. So that being said, I wanted to ask more things, but I want to just ask you this last thing before we close out. If anything else you want to say, is that what advice would you give to someone struggling to achieve their dreams or feels like giving up because they don't appear to be making any progress? You know, we're a very visual. If we can't get in the mirror and you know, do that the next day, you know, we don't keep watering the plant because we don't see nothing sprout out the soil. So what would you say to somebody that's struggling to achieve their dream because they don't appear to be making any progress?
I mean, just focus on the compound effect. You know, ideally, you know, the goal will always be to have a plan, right? Have a setup, some kind of structure. If
Yep.
there's a particular goal that you're trying to accomplish,
Yep.
right? And you need to understand that in the midst of anything, if you can build some consistency with whatever you're doing, then eventually, or it's inevitable that that thing is going to actually happen for you. All right. Um, Here's another thing, right? Don't get so caught up in the big wins. Have process goals and always celebrate your small wins, right?
Bars.
Because because what we often do is, if the goal is to be successful to a point to where we have a multi-million-dollar business,
Mm-hmm.
we don't celebrate that we hit 100,000. You know what I'm saying? We just only saying, yeah, unless I hit this is, but not understanding that you went from 0 to 100K, and from 100K to 150. And all those are milestones. And once you understand that, it can change your outlook, right? Just like with your fitness. Yeah, your goal is to lose 150. You lost 25 pounds, and you're not celebrating that, understanding that it takes a lot. It's some people out here struggling to lose 25, right? So if you can lock in some sort of structure, right? And have process goals that you are moving towards, and your process goals that you're checking off on a day-to-day basis, and stack your consistency. There's a compounding effort that comes with that, that will make whatever you're trying to accomplish inevitable. You can't eat well, exercise, drink water, and get great sleep and not eventually get to the body you want.
You can't do it.
It's not, it just can't. It just won't, you know.
Yeah, you can't do it.
You know, if you're doing that, right? Just like in a business, if you have a structure and you have a means to understand exactly what you need to do to grow this business, if you do these, if you understand these steps and you move through these steps on a day-to-day basis, your business will be successful, right? And don't be afraid to course correct. Don't be afraid to course correct, right? And I think that's you know, that's something, it's something to be said about that as well. But you know, don't be afraid to course correct. If you're working and you're grinding and you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, you know, and you set a tone of kind of where you want to see yourself at, and understanding that you need to celebrate these small process goals in the midst of doing that. If you're not where you want to be, don't be afraid to course correct. Don't be afraid to say, okay, I think I'm shooting too low. So instead of having to get this amount of leads, I need to get this amount of leads. Or I think, you know, I know I'm being a little more lenient with my calories. So let me just go hard. Let me just really dial back. Let me just go harder in the gym. You know, so it's not a one size fits all thing, but understanding that compounding effort is going to be a game changer for you being successful in whatever you want to do, right?
The key thing that you just said, I mean, you said a lot, but what hit me personally, and I wanted to ask that question so people could hear the answer. But as I'm listening to it, you know, I've struggled from the milestone victories myself, man. And I don't know if it's being a driven person, or there's always something that you want to achieve. You're always constantly setting new goals. I've struggled with like kind of smelling the roses on some of the things that I've achieved. Like my brother got to remind me all the time. He's like, dude, man, you said you was gonna do this. You said you was gonna do this. You did you did all of that exactly the way you said you were gonna do it. And my thing has always been, yeah, man, but I'm trying to da 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 da. And it's like, nah, chill. I mean, we ain't gotta throw a party, but you could be like, damn, I said I was gonna get this thing open. I said I was gonna pass inspection. I said I was gonna get the website up. I said, you know, the little things that were on a to-do list at some point that you actually knocked out, and damn, I got X amount of customers. Damn, we made this amount of money this month. Damn, this December is, you know, X amount up from like I feel like a lot of times super driven people don't celebrate those little bite-sized wins, and you can't have too much distance between your gas station. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't have too much distance between your re-up and your fill-up for yourself. So that was a major takeaway for me. Like even when I started, I'm like, oh damn, I gotta put another hole in my belt.
Right.
You know
and
what
you
I'm
was
saying?
hitting me up, and I was like, I always was like, yo, that's great. Like you see every time you go, bro, I'm like 10 pounds down. Like, that's great. Like it wasn't like, yeah, whatever, dude. You ain't hit. No, bro, listen, you 10 pounds less than what you was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's just, and at the end of the day, you can't lose 20 pounds without losing 2 pounds first. So at the end of the day, dude, you know, constant progression and moving forward is the way to any success, dude, in my opinion.
No, that's real. Progress is a process. You know, and we recapping everything. It's passion, it's doing something that you love. It's actually believing in yourself, you know, because you know, ain't nobody tried to make a shot that they didn't believe that they were gonna make. You know what I'm saying? I talked to my son, he just started taking basketball. I'm like, dude, you got to see it. You know, one thing I like about his coach, when he's coaching the kids on foul shot, he'd be like, hands wide, knees bent. He said, see it going in the goal. That's seeing it going in the goal.
That visual, yeah.
That's the most important thing. You ain't never achieved something you ain't never made a touchdown you didn't think you wasn't gonna make. You ain't never made a tackle you didn't think you was gonna make. You know what I'm saying? So getting aligned with that is key. And then, like you said, man, just asking yourself those tough questions and always being able to go back to the drawing board and refine the process. You know what I'm saying? We don't change the destination, but we might change the path. You know what I'm saying? We won't change the route, but we might modify the path based on the feedback.
100%.
So you got to constantly be in tune with yourself on that tip. But anyway, man, this is great, man. I want to say, man, I appreciate your time, man. I know it's hard to link this up. You know, I told my daughter, I say, yeah, I'm talking to my man today because I drive her to school every day on the bus, and she's like, what's up? Because I come back from the gym, I pick her up and take her to school, and we have our little day-to-day talk. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna interview my man today and let people know like this, what's behind how this happened. You know what I'm saying? So she was excited. But yeah, man, I appreciate your time, man, because I know you're busy chopping up with us. I'm gonna edit this and put this out. Any last words you want to leave people with before we roll out?
You could do it. You know, whatever you decide to do, you can do it. Right? There's a structure, and don't always think you have to reinvent the wheel. There's successful people that's already have accomplished what you're trying to accomplish, right? And you know, there's a method to any and everything, right? Business, weight loss, whatever. And just understand, man, believe, you know, look in the mirror, right? Like we spoke about earlier, look in the mirror. And you know, normally if you ask yourself, why not me? You know, you'll get the answer you want, you know. So
and that's what's up. And that's what 100%. It is. Any you want to give any links, any social media, any challenges? What's next for Grind Time? You got anything going on?
Yeah, so I mean, we have a ton of things going on, but you know, if you guys are looking for any, you know, fitness, fitness, you know, whether it's classes, whether it's general coaching, nutrition, you know, just reach out to me at grindtimefitness.com, www.grindtimefitness.com, and on IG, get GT Fit, and you know, holla at me. Don't be afraid to, if you're in the area, you know, Sterling area, don't be afraid to stop by. We always there. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you know, like Dallas spoke on early, like my goal is always to push for and get you guys the result you need, you know, whether it's performance or whether it's just, you know, weight loss and feeling better. So yeah, you know, we can help you out for sure.
And that's what it is. So man, on that note, man, like I said, man, I appreciate your time chopping up with me. And on that note, we're gonna sign it out. Until next time, I got Will Beckford here from Grind Time Fitness. I'm Dallas Maxwell with the podcast. And on that note, we're outro. Later, man.
Be great.
My man.
Be great. Yes, sir.